Alright, we're back again with Truckstang 3. I can finally call it that as if it's completed because, well, in the last video we spent all our time putting this thing back together again. We have the front clip all done, all the body panels all the way to the back, fabricated the pickup bed ute rear, and closed in the interior, linked everything up as far as the truck bed and the cab floor, and everything is now locked down. So for all intents and purposes, this pretty much is a whole car, sans a few components. But that's where this video comes in, because we'll be focusing on getting the interior completed, starting with our dash frame. The dash frame in a 69 Mustang is actually removable compared to the dash frame in a 65 Mustang, which is welded in. But it's only held in by a few bolts, so it's a pretty easy removal or install in our case. But with the installation of the dash frame, we could then move on to our dash cap, which also is held in by only a few screws and bolts on along the top and on the sides at the bottom. But with the dash cap in place, we can now go ahead and turn our attention to the floor. All right, our interior is starting to come together. We have our dash frame in place, held in by 6 bolts, 2 over there, 2 over there, one little bracket right there, and then the other bracket where the steering column is supported right there. And our dash cap has 2 screws along the windowsill, as well as a screw there and a screw on the other side. So quick and easy. But with that, we can now move on to our floor. I actually want to try installing some of this thermal insulation sheeting on the floor to help keep the temperatures under some control in the interior. And from what I'm seeing, obviously I have to cut this stuff to fit, spray some adhesive on the floor, and then try to pat this stuff in and hope it stays down. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm gonna go ahead and start spraying some crap down and start getting this stuff laid out, starting with this middle section right here. Alright, we have our thermal insulation barrier as well as the carpet in place. Now, had to do a little modifying to make all this crap fit. The front half of the carpet wasn't so bad. I just had to, even after gluing it down, there were still spots where the carpet kind of wanted to pop up and all, especially on the corners. So I had to go a bootleg route and use fender washers with sheet metal screws in corners of the carpet in order to hold the thing down. Like you could see different spots where I tacked it down, but it's not too bad. And I'll probably go over those fender washers with some black paint to help mask them a little bit. Now, I got a fair portion of the firewall covered, but again, because this is a Mustang carpet and this is a Ranger cab floor, everything wasn't going to line up like it needed to. But you can see the insulation barrier there. I'll probably hit that with some black paint as well, just to cover that up. But the firewall is half covered. Now, as for the rear portion, because this would have been the back seat and floor area of the old car, all this crap was not going to fit. I had to trim these pieces down and use a heat gun to heat this red rubber stuff up to make it more flexible so I could curve it around this lip on the back of the cab floor. And I try to keep everything kind of symmetrical, so at least it looks like it sort of fits. I tucked this portion underneath the back of the front carpet, and then again I tacked it in different corners with the sheet metal screws and fender washers. Now as for the center, as ugly as it looks, it's not going to matter, because the next move is going to be putting in our center console. This thing's going to have to get modified as well in order to fit it, because of the way we have that lip right here and just a slightly different contour to the transmission hump. And you can see this center console is pretty ratty. This thing's cracked and broken and had been crudely patched up in the past. I might have to do a little more patching on it to make it just a little more sturdy, but as far as trimming this thing down to fit, I'll do that off camera, because I'm going to probably be doing a lot of measurements and trimming a little, measuring and trimming a little, to make sure that this thing fits as smoothly as possible without any humongous gaps that would make this thing look any more unsightly than it already is. So stand by. All right, we have our center console in place, and had to do a little bit of finessing to get this thing to sit right. I had to do a lot of trimming of the plastic along the bottom on the right side in order for this thing to sit right on top of the carpet and the transmission hump. One of the areas that I was focusing on was this gap right here between the HVAC box and the front of the console. I didn't want it to be uneven. I wanted them to be even all the way across, as well as the rear area. I wanted to get this area centered enough so between it being centered and level on the front and centered on the back, it'll actually look straight. One of the other things is, after trimming this thing, I found that the storage box actually rested right on top of the elevated rear portion of the cab floor, so that allowed me to put an anchor screw in place to hold the rear of this thing down. I also stuck a couple more anchoring screws on the sides right here in order to hold the middle to front section down, because there was really no good spots over there to do it. And I had to reinforce this in this point right here because, well, this old plastic broke. One of the other areas I had to take care of real quick was cutting out this opening in the carpet and insulation so I could remove this blockout panel, since this was an automatic transmission truck. So once I got that out, that's all good and ready for our stick shift when we install the power plant. But once that's all said and done, then I could go ahead and install this panel and trim it to fit the stick shift lever. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But as we can see, everything is pretty much lined up center. I mean, this thing is kind of ratty, so there's going to be a little bit of distortion. As you can see, there's a huge missing chunk on the rear of that thing, but a lot better to booger that thing up than to try to source an actual good specimen of one of those center consoles just to butcher it up to fit in here. So yeah, we're done with our center console. So the next thing is going to be getting our seats in there. Next and actually last thing. All right, we have our seats here. These aren't the original seats that were in the car. I grabbed them from a scrapyard a long time ago, and they just happen to have a pattern on them that looked like they would fit in a vintage car. Of course, this is from the normal wear and tear, but either way, got to put our seats in, and I have to drill out the bolt holes for our studs so I could mount this crap. Hopefully our Ranger floor is not going to present a problem, as it's not flat all the way across. I'll see how that plays out, but what I ended up doing was making a template with some cardboard so I could go ahead and get the holes actually drilled evenly instead of sitting there trying to guess where the studs are touching on the carpet, so I could drill through like that. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this cardboard in half, because I got one for the passenger side, one for the driver's side. So go ahead and get this chopped up, get these holes drilled, and then we'll see about getting our seats mounted. Okay, I have our seats situated where they would go if I'm not doing anything special, but we got a couple problems. First problem is this elevated hump on the cab floor keeps me from moving these seats any further back than they already are. And because of that, relative to our Mustang dash, our seats are actually too far forward. The passenger would have to be about 5 feet tall with short legs to be able to comfortably sit in here without bending their legs up to keep them from smashing into the glove box. The driver has it even worse because the steering wheel will be about right here, and unless they're about 3 inches thick, they're going to have a steering wheel in their chest. So that means these seats can't stay here. They're going to have to go back. And in order to go back, they're going to have to sit on top of this elevated portion of the cab floor. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to fabricate some type of framework that'll help support the front mounting points of our seat rails about right here where my hand is at, about where the back part of the seat rails is currently bolted down to. So the other thing I'll have to look at is, after raising the seats up, it shouldn't be a problem, but after raising the seats up, it's about, I would say, 4 inches, give or take. I don't want my head to be touching the roof there because I'm 4 inches higher than normal. So the only thing I could do at this point is get the seats kind of staged where I want them to be, and then put something underneath the seat rails, like some blocks or something, so I could get a test fit on how the seat will sit, and then I'll know if I need to take any other measures as far as mounting these seats. All right, we have our seats repositioned. I redid the studs on the rear sections of the seat rails and then poked holes in the elevated portion of the cab floor so I could set the seats down on that. And then with the seats positioned there, I went ahead and found some tubing that had these 90-degree bends. I was able to cut several pieces of these 90-degree sections and weld them to the bottoms of the seat rails on both seats, and then flatten out the last few inches or a couple inches to create a good flat surface to sit on the floor, and then drill the hole through that and into the floor so I could anchor everything down with nuts and bolts. So with that, our seats are nice and sturdy. Now, the level is not that much higher from the ceiling of the cab, and even with me sitting in here, it's not really that bad. The level to the roof is only about 3 inches, give or take, so it's not like I'm scraping the ceiling here. But even with the steering column, when it's in place, instead of it being in my chest like it was when the seats were forward, it'll be about right here, which is manageable as far as driving the thing. So with that, I would call this a success. And with that, that's going to conclude the interior portion of our Truckstang 3 build. Everything's in place, about as good as it's going to be, given the fact that we're trying to mate Mustang stuff to Ranger cab floor stuff, but made it work for all intents and purposes. So again, gonna leave it off here, and as usual, hit the like button. Likes are free. Subscribe if you hadn't already. Hit the notification button so you can be kept up to date with future videos on this and other builds. Check out the TikTok, Facebook, website, all that good stuff, and I will catch you later. I'm gonna head on inside. It's getting late.